here at Final Play. I'm your host, Harrison, and my co host. And today we're going to be running over a couple of things. I want to start off this week's episode with the Chauncey Gardner, uh, Chauncey Gardner Johnson trade. This is, wow, that's kind of crazy. I didn't think that I knew the Eagles were looking to build their offense and everything else, or build up their defense and their offense. I mean, with the additional receiver help with AJ Brown, but trading for a big time like I'm sorry, people don't think he's big time, but this guy he's been a menace for offenses. And let me see what they gave. I know they didn't give up. They didn't give up much to get him. They're sending because he was a fourth round draft pick. Uh, the Saints also send a 2025 seventh rounder, but they will receive the 2023 fifth round and two 2024 sixth round selections from Philly with this acquisition. Now that's not a lot for got to be honest here. He could be in the talking of he's a top 15 safety. He could be a top 15 DB honestly if we're going to be serious here. But I mean that to give up almost nothing for him is ridiculous. Now another trade I want to talk about, and it stays on the topic of the Eagles. They send my boy Jalen Reagor to Minnesota. And we're going to touch on Minnesota's offense here in a minute, but I got to be honest, I think that sets up Minnesota pretty nicely.
Oh, yeah.
You already got Dalvin Cook in your backfield with the handcuff Alexander Madison, but now your wide receiver core is Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Jalen Reagor.
Yeah, and I think the Rager deal was more a Thielen move because Thielen, you don't know if he's going to go the whole game, the whole season.
That's true.
He went down late last year, and I'd safe to say they kind of struggled when he was out, but Rager really gives them the depth they need. And Irv Smith's going to be open a lot. Irv Smith Jr. If when Dallas plays them this year and they don't get to Cousins in time, it could get ugly.
That's very true. Let me find the specifics in this. They are trading Jalen Reagor to Minnesota for a conditional 2024 fourth round pick and a 2023 seventh rounder. That, for him being a first round draft pick, wide receiver. Now remember, I want everybody to remember this. He was drafted one pick before Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
And when the Eagles took Jalen Reagor, they played it the night of the draft that Minnesota had this look on their face like, what is Philly doing? And
Mike Zimmer about jumped through the screen.
He was like, he was so excited that they got Justin Jefferson. Now, Justin Jefferson, he had an argument. In my honest opinion, I think he was wide receiver 3 in that draft. I'm not going to put him above. Well, now we can put him above Judy and Lamb now. But coming into the league, I think it went. In my opinion, I think it went Lamb, Judy, Jefferson. That's how I think. I think Reagor was in the 5 behind Ruggs at 4, Reagor at 5. But now I think that this has come to a thing where, and Reagor had a bad thing in Philly. And I think that now with him going to a new team, getting a fresh start, I think this is going to be a bounce back season for him. The same way Wentz leaving Philly, going to Indy last season, I think that was a step up for Wentz. Now going to Washington's a step down. That's about 5 steps down, but I think that, I think that this will open up people's eyes, and I think we're going to get, sophomore and junior year out of wide receiver and special teams returner out of TCU, Jalen Reagor back, and I'm super excited for that, and it makes me happy for him because I didn't want him going. I didn't want him going to Philly. I got to be honest. I didn't want him going to Philly, and now he's out of Philly. Jalen, if you end up watching this for whatever reason, bro, just know I love you, and I'm glad that you're in Minnesota. Next, with this week in the NFL, Derrick Henry gets a slight raise from the Tennessee Titans. He's getting an additional $2 million, which now makes him the highest paid running back this season. And also, the only question mark that comes with this is what is Tennessee's game plan for Derrick Henry? Because next season, he has this season and next season on his contract still. But after that, I think if you're going to, I mean, let's be honest, Derrick Henry is a monster.
Oh, he is. I mean,
He's
go ahead. Go ahead.
he's a monster. He's a man that can just he honestly he can do it all if they let him do it all. But obviously you're not going to do that to your primo running back. So I mean, right now he's sitting on a 4-year, $50 million contract, but it extends or it ends after next season. So I think with what he did last season with him being injured is going to hurt him a little bit. But now coming into this season and potentially going into next season, I think now's a good time for Tennessee to start the conversation of giving him an extension.
Yeah, I think part of that extension is the workload he's going to come along with that. I think it's like, hey, we're not going to run you into the ground and then not extend you,
Yeah,
and wear you out, and then release you. So I think this is kind of a win-win for them. Say, hey, we still need you. The offense run through Henry. Everything runs through Henry. Their success is based on if Henry plays. And with him there, I think they can continue to. And their quarterback play has been average at best. And we'll see how Robert Woods does, kind of replacing AJ Brown in a sense. They have Traylon Burks.
Yeah. So
Traylon Burks there. I mean, he's a young player, but I mean, we'll see how it goes. They got a veteran and new guys there, so we'll see how that works out. But they have to have Henry.
Yeah, Henry's a key piece. I do want to touch back on that wide receiver core though. So they trade. They get AJ Brown out of there. They bring in Robert Woods.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, there's a replacement. Then they turn around and draft Traylon Burks, which is, I think, was the sleeper wide receiver in this draft. I mean, there are other guys later down the road that we'll see pop out. I mean, as a Cowboy fan, Jalen Tolbert could be that guy. Could be the sleeper pick that everybody overlooked. There are other guys. Drake London could be one of them. Who knows? But at the same time, they also bring in Austin Hooper. I don't know. I don't know what people remember about Austin Hooper, but dude was a monster when he was in Atlanta.
Yeah, he's good.
He's a good tight end. He's a veteran, which helps. Now, do I think he's going to put up those monster numbers that he had when he was, I think it was tight end 2 in 2018? No. But is he going to go out there and become most likely the 4th highest targeted tight end? Because that's what people don't know about Tannehill likes to. If he needs to dunk it off to somebody, if he has to dump it off, he will give that ball to Hooper.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, I would trust dumping the ball off to Austin Hooper.
Yeah, he's got to be accounted for in the offense. So yeah, you can do a lot worse than Austin Hooper. Let's just say.
Oh yeah, you definitely could. Now that we're done with we're not done with our NFL update. The last one that I have before we jump into Dallas, because I know, obviously, us being Cowboy fans, that's the main talk that we have here is Dallas. But before, I do have sad news for Tennessee fans. If you don't already know, I'm so sorry. Harold Landry has torn his ACL and is out for the season. This is not a good look for your defense, especially with the year that him, Danico Autry, and Jeffrey Simmons were having, and you have Kevin Byard as your safety. This is not news that you want. This is a trend backwards in your steps, and now you're going to have to put. I think Vrabel's best option is to play time management with Tannehill, Henry, and don't take these deep shots. Deep shots are fun and all. Don't take the deep shot unless you need it. Right now, I think right now, I don't say it crushes your defense, but it's a very hard blow to your defense, losing the talent of Harold Landry.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if they were prepared for that.
But now on to the thing that everybody cannot seem to stop talking about, and that is the Dallas Cowboys. Do you like to take over there for Dallas, or do you want me to start it off?
I mean, we're going to go over the roster as it sits right now. They obviously they bring back Rush and Greer to continue battling. I don't think they officially named anybody the backup, even though it's probably going to be Rush for the moment. Cavante Turpin is going to wear 9, which a lot of Cowboy fans were thinking that, a lot of fans, you love Romo, you want that number retired, but you can't retire every number in the book. So it's kind of cool to see a 9 out there. When I believe Jalen Smith, he paid a lot of money to wear that number.
And by the way, he paid all that money just to get traded.
Yeah,
I think it was like week 8 or 9 that season.
So
he was
he's
traded.
The owner of a lot of his Cowboy jerseys.
Yeah,
he bought them out. Obviously, Jason Peters hopeful signing this week to shore up that left tackle position. Maybe we'll hear something by Monday or something that he's signed here, going to play here. Even though Jerry wants Tyler Smith to start the year, I don't know how long that's going to last. It's going to depend how many DNs flatten Dak, in games 1 and 2. Before he decides we gotta put in Peters in the game to start, and then Brett Maher is back. I believe this is going to backfire at some point.
I agree. Tremendously with that statement. You should be holding
your breath for extra point attempts, but I just find myself holding my breath every time he's kicking anything that looks like a football. So
yeah, it's tough.
It's tough. It's not good. And there's a reason why he got cut here and he got cut there. And here we are bringing him back. It's because he's a Band-Aid on an open wound of our kicking department. So we'll see how it goes. What about your thoughts on the roster?
I'm gonna take it back up to the 53-man roster. Everybody was up in arms when Dallas was making their moves before we could go through and actually, keep certain guys, and we had to check people's health before we could even that's why when we submitted our 53-man roster, it wasn't, we're only going to run with one quarterback. No team's going to run with one quarterback. Okay. Rush didn't have to go through the waivers. So he was a bring back guy. The fact that Greer didn't get picked up, I'm a yes and no. I'm surprised they didn't get picked up, but also I'm not surprised because his time in Carolina didn't last long. Understandable. But now we're at a point where, you got, and like you said earlier, Cooper Rush most likely will be quarterback too. For a lot of people, not okay with it.
Yeah, I mean,
the reason Cooper Rush will hold quarterback too, and I've explained it to multiple people that talk to me about it. He'll be quarterback too because he's started regular season games. He's won regular season games. And the games that he's won on the road. Going into Minnesota last season, with Prescott not playing, I believe it was the shoulder injury at that point, like shoulder soreness or something.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I think if you're a Cowboy fan, realistically, you have that game marked up as an L. This season, we go into Minnesota. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I got that game marked up as an L this season. Minnesota's good. They have a good team. They potentially have wide receiver 1 in the league. It's possible for Justin Jefferson to be wide receiver 1. Let's not sit here and act like it's impossible to do. He can be wide receiver 1. No. But now with the quarterback 2 situation, Personally, I think it should be Greer. Greer fits our system better. He's mobile. Uh, he knows how to get rid of it. But also another thing is he doesn't have any road victories, specifically wearing a Cowboy uniform. So Cooper Rush is most likely your quarterback too this season. I mean, how are you feeling about the backup quarterback?
I don't like either one as a solid backup. Like if Dak goes down, you could probably kiss the season goodbye as a general rule because it's just not the same. We don't
Possible.
have that potential starter on the a lot of teams don't. I get that, but from what I've seen, it's just different. They panic. The ball comes out way too late sometimes. The decision making is not going to be the same. Therefore, the accuracy is probably not going to be the same. It's just a totally different deal. And right, the way this team is set up, it's if somebody goes down, the season's gone. I mean, they don't really do this. Don't worry, we've got another guy that can take over. It's not like this. It seems not. We have our starters, and then you have all the cheap backups you can find in the world. I mean, there's not that many.
Yeah,
It's not a whole lot of quality depth.
Yeah,
on our roster.
Agreeable. That's an agreeable statement. Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't feel safe if Tyler Smith goes down. I don't trust Josh Ball. I don't trust Josh Ball as far as I can throw him. And guess what? I can't throw him. So I don't trust him at all.
Yeah.
Now, Crone has seen a lot of it since first signing 2-3 years ago. Jones said that Josh Ball, a tremendous leap of progress. Mm-hmm. We drafted him last year and he got injured. You want to know what his progress was, guys? Padding up. Okay. That's the progress I saw. Other than that, I'm sorry. You're going up against guys that are fighting for roster spots the same way you're fighting for a roster spot. You think I trust you to take on the likings of Shaq Barrett? Yeah, we have to go against Yannick Ngakoue again this year. You're going to see a crazy amount of defensive line talent. You got Danielle Hunter. You have with Minnesota. You're going to have who else do we have? Chase Young, but he won't be till the last week of the season. Right. He's out the first 4 weeks. Yeah. So that's a lifesaver for us right now. I mean, the Eagles front seven. Now again, this is all hypothetical, saying for some odd reason, knock on wood, that Tyler Smith does not go down. This is worst case scenario. Josh Ball as your starting left tackle, that's worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. But to back it up a little bit, in order to avoid that, Dallas, I think now Jerry and Steven, mm-hmm. Mr. Pili, shout out to my guy, Tom Downey at Chat Sports. He's trademarking Pili, and I love it because that's all Steven likes to talk about is the pie. How much pie can we divvy up for everybody? Yeah. And I think now they've noticed that the issue there behind the left tackle spot, and we bring in Jason Peters for a visit. That's helpful.
Well, the pie is mainly made up of Dak ingredients. He's the crust. He's the filling. The rest. Zeke's probably the sugar in it. A little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then after that, the pie's about done. So right now, but we'll see. Aiden Hutchinson. Mm-hmm. We'll see. Well, that would be an interesting test for our O-line that game because he's a rookie. But second overall, we'll see how they can handle somebody like him. Now, Peters is there. If he even lines up on Peters' side, which he may not, you wouldn't want to line him up against Peters, as a rookie.
No, you don't want to do that.
But that O-line is a big liability right now, and I think that's going to make or break a lot of games and a lot of our season. So, and we want to go through some of these we're going to give you some of our picks. Maybe the first 4 weeks we'll go through right now.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So week 1, Sunday night. Glad I don't work on Sundays because I'll be watching. I'll stay up, watch that game. If you guys follow us on Twitter at TFP Harrison, last night I was live tweeting the TCU game. The way I live tweeted the TCU game is the same way I'm going to live tweet Dallas games. The only time I'm not going to live tweet a Cowboy game is if for some reason I hit the lottery and I'm at the game. Okay.
I may have to live tweet Cowboy games because I'm going to be pretty much glued to it and commenting on things that are good, things that are bad.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So starting off week 1, September 11th, Sunday night, 7:20 p.m. Central Time. We got the Bucks again, and I think now let's go ahead and break down the Bucks real quick. The Bucks are a good team. They're a good team.
One of the greatest
parts
of their team.
They're missing 2 highly decorated parts of that team. One is easily made up for, but the other one is not. They are without starting center Ryan Jensen. Now that I believe is going to open up room for Big Osa and my boy Neville Gallimore out of OU to come in and do damage for this front for the interior of our defensive line. I'm safe with DeMarcus Lawrence coming off the edge. D-Law's gonna get his. Okay, he's gonna do what he can. But now that you're going to add in them without their starting center and Brady just now coming back for week 3 of the preseason, that's going to he's been away. I don't know if you guys seen the interview, but if you look at the interview between the one that he did in July and the one that he did in August, Brady looks like he did meth for a month, left football, did meth, and came back. He doesn't look like he's in good shape, but it's easy to make up for because he's Tom Brady. And he gets his way. We love to see it. Tom Brady getting his way because he is the GOAT. But they are also without Chris Godwin. Now, Ryan Jensen's not an easy makeup. Chris Godwin is an easy makeup when his replacement is none other than Julio Jones.
They're also without Bruce Arians. Okay. And they got Todd Bowles. I like Todd Bowles. I think he deserves to be a coach, but it's different. It's still not, Bruce Arians is a seasoned, now Super Bowl champion coach. And I don't know. We'll see how big a difference it makes. It could. You never know. These coaches, sometimes in certain situations, they one decision could lose a game for you. And we're hoping. Dallas almost beat them last year in Tampa Bay. If it weren't for a missed field goal by Greg, the missing leg,
Zuerlein.
So
yep.
We actually have Dallas winning this game in a pretty close score, 35-28. I have them. I think Schultz is going to have a big game. He's going to have a big game. And I think our defense is going to. That's our strong
point this season. I got to be honest. I think the strong point this year is our defense.
Yeah. And if we can, Brady's really, really good at getting that ball out very quickly and accurately. But if we can just disrupt that enough, that could be the difference in the game.
I think so too. But I don't have. Schultz is okay. Schultz is going to get his. Schultz has gotten his ever since he became the starter. Okay. He's going to do his thing. You want to know who I have having a huge game? Huge game. I'm taking wide receiver 1, CeeDee Lamb, man. I'm taking Lamb. I'm not just saying that because he's on my fantasy team. I'm saying that because Lamb, he's a problem maker. I mean, you go back, you look at the first 7 weeks last season. Him and Amari ate. It wasn't just, it was Amari this week, Lamb the next week. No, they were both eating. And not to mention, you're going to feed Zeke. You're going to feed Pollard. And you want to know who I want to see them feature in this offense so bad? Again, TCU guy, Kevontae Turpin. I need to see Turpin on a jet sweep.
That was Dak's first game back since the injury.
It was.
last year. So, you know, we could see, he might even play better than he did that game. So,
I think also a step up player for week one, the guy that's going to step up and he's going to surprise a lot of people. But I've had hope in him since the day we drafted him is Noah Brown. Noah Brown's going to have he's going to have a very, very good week one because he's going to go unaccounted for. And Miles, I think he's going to go unaccounted for because they're just going to look and be like, oh, he's just some special teamer.
mm-hmm.
But guys, he's a good wide receiver. He's really good. Now you want to jump into week two?
Yeah, go to the Bengal game.
Still a home game, so we're home the first 2 weeks.
Um,
Now, this home game, people think I'm crazy. I think Dallas starts the season out 4-0. 4-0. Not 0-4, 4-0. And it's going to be because of the week 2 game that everybody's going to sit here and say Dallas can't. I think people are going to give us the Bucks game as a revenge game. People are going to say that's Dallas's revenge game from last year. People are going to just give us that game. But week 2 against the team, they were the Cinderella team last season in the playoffs. They were the Cinderella team. But no, we're going to show that they were a Cinderella team. And I want to see La'el Collins stop DeMarcus Lawrence. Now, when he stops DeMarcus Lawrence, guess what I'm going to do? Try to stop Micah Parsons. Try to stop the baddest man at the linebacker position. Try to stop that. Because guess what? Nobody could last year. People let the first 3 weeks go by and they're like, okay, now we'll account for him. Now look at where you're at. That's the first couple of weeks they let it slide, and then they all tried to counter him, and you couldn't counter him. You can't stop greatness, especially when you're getting coached by DeMarcus Ware. Yeah, no.
So here, I agree Dallas should win the game, but I'm picking this game to go the Bengals' way because of Brett Maher. I believe he's going to miss a couple field goals that's going to sink us in this game. It may not be this game, but I'm picking this game as him burning us, just to let Jerry know and everyone else that bringing him back was not a good idea.
The only issue that I really have with the Bengals offense, their tight end is Hayden Hurst. That's a solid tight end. Mm-hmm. Running back's Joe Mixon. That's a solid running back. Wide receivers 1, 2, and 3 are solid.
Very solid. Yeah.
But again, we're talking about now they can sit here. You can bring in people. But when you're bringing in guys, I'm sorry, I watched La'el Collins the last couple of years. Everybody was high on him. I was not high on La'el Collins. I'm sorry. We got plays where this dude just stood up and let DNs run past him. Mm-hmm. So he can sign with Cincinnati and say, oh, Joe Burrow's bodyguard's in town. Well, Joe Burrow's bodyguard didn't show up for all of training camp. Mm-hmm. So much for being a bodyguard.
Yeah.
Now, stop and chase is difficult to do. Can it be done? Yes. Is it difficult? Yes. But I don't think our defense is built to. I'm sorry, no defense is built to stop Jamar Chase.
I hope not. He's on my fantasy team.
But
let's hope.
I'm gonna give Dallas the win. I think there's a grudge about Collins leaving, and I think there's something about our defensive guys going up against him where they just flat out bully him in that game. So
yeah, I mean it's a winnable game for Dallas. I just think, I just have a feeling that starting off 2-0 against the Super Bowl champion from 2 years ago, and then the runner-up last year. Now, if we start off 2-0 against those type of teams, we could be in for a really special season. But knowing what we know about how Dallas does business and how their decisions come back to haunt them, I think this could be the Maher game. that bites us. But
I'm saving my Maher game. I'm
Okay.
saving my Maher game.
well, the next Monday night after that, we go to New York, play the Giants.
Giants is a win in my book. I'm sorry. I get they
Yeah.
got Kenny Galladay, but
Yeah.
who's the quarterback?
Yeah.
Who's that? Who's that guy?
They don't have a
Who's that exactly?
Yeah, they have Barkley, Galladay. They have Kadarius Toney, who's okay, but that's where it ends. I don't see them doing much. I think Danny Dimes is going to throw probably at least 2 interceptions that game.
I think okay. Obviously, one of them's going to go to Trayvon Diggs, your interception king last season, but he's either going to throw a pick to somebody on our D line, or the monster
Well,
Micah Parsons is going to get a pick.
Yeah, and I see us getting maybe as much as 2 defensive scores, scooping scores. They get to Danny Dimes and he coughs it up and we scoop it up and go. That game.
I see that
ugly early.
Oh, it can
because they're horrible. That's a horrible franchise right now. They're not going to be ready year one under Brian Daboll.
No,
There's no way.
No.
I mean, we all know they're going to feature Barkley. We all know that's their bread and butter. And so we're just not going to let him beat us.
Yeah.
We're just not going to let him get away.
And so here's another thing. Now their draft was their first round was tremendous. You get Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau. Evan Neal should be playing, but Thibodeau, I believe, will be out that game because Thibodeau took a nasty block. Now, everybody's going to sit here and argue this is an illegal block. That was a clean chop, but it does result in a nasty knee injury for Kayvon Thibodeau, and I think Thibodeau's going to be out for some time with this knee injury. Now, he could surprise us all and come back, but I think he will be out a good majority of this season, and I had him winning Defensive Player of the Year this year. I had Thibodeau winning Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
But now with him getting this injury, it knocks him out of it. So it's going to open the room for Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchinson. What was that guy out of Georgia's name that went to the Eagles? I can't think of his name.
The
right
linebacker?
No, not Nakobe Dean.
Oh.
The defensive lineman.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, their first round draft pick. I was going to come down to those 3 guys. Unless somebody comes out and again, we could have a surprise guy.
You said he went to Georgia, right? Jordan Davis.
Yeah, Jordan Davis. Davis. I don't see Kyle Hamilton. being. He'll be in the conversation, but I think it's going to come down to one of the big boys down in the trenches. I'm showing big boy respect today. So we'll go into week 4.
So we have a win for the Giant gang. Yeah, week 4 is the of all names in the world.
Yeah, the worst.
Commodore 64 would have been better than
I think
Commanders.
Hey, you know what? South Carolina had. Did you hear about South Carolina football? They had the school South Carolina. They were talking about renaming their mascot, but the list got leaked of names potential. This was a potential name before they decided on the name. So YouTube, don't get mad at us. The name that everybody wanted them to choose and was highly voted for on their platform was the Cock Commanders, because they're the Gamecocks, but they want to move away. They wanted to because I think they were calling their mascot, the big, So here's my thing. First of all, you should have gone with that name for your mascot. That should have been his name. But they chose, I think it was the Big Spur. But everybody, I was watching highlights of that game, and you could see signs and bring out the dude. Why would you release that name? That's not a name you release.
Yeah.
Also, another team name you don't release is the Commanders. because you have America's team. This is something that I forgot who it was. It was somebody in Tennessee because they released the name while I was in Tennessee. And one of my buddies, it might have been my roommate K1. K1, if you're watching this, shout out to you. This man literally told me, he said, y'all are America's team going against the commies. And I was like, that is hilarious, but also choose a better team name. I would have rather stuck with the football team.
Many people, their own fans like the football team. The other names that were out there were
Well, I remember
Admirals,
Warriors. Warhogs was one of them.
Red Tails.
Yep.
And some of those made sense. Some of
Yo,
those sounded good.
I gotta be honest. I would have, if they would have went with Red Tails, that would have been. I think, in my opinion, I think that's the best name they had. Red Tails.
Yeah, or Warriors.
I'm not a fan of Warriors.
I mean,
That's already a basketball team.
True.
Be different, you know.
Yeah.
Also, another way to be different: don't be Washington. Be DC. Simple.
That'd be the DC Redskins. They want the name change. We're changing it to DC Redskins.
That's But against the Commanders, just like last season, that'll be a blowout game. I think that'll be I think that game. You want to talk about getting ugly quick? That's the game that's going to happen.
Yeah, they just cannot beat us no matter what's going on. You know, Carson Wentz doesn't give them that much better of a chance to beat us, assuming we show up. So that's the problem. Is if we
need to show up.
We have to show up. We can't commit stupid penalties. We can't get in third and longs. We can't give up third and longs so they can get first downs. We've seen that happen a million times. But we generally beat the Redskins when all things being equal. We usually beat them pretty good. So we have them winning that game rather easily.
But then we go into week 5, and that's when I give us our first loss. That's a tough team. That could be an ugly loss. The reigning champs. We go to LA. I'm giving us now. Here's the thing with this game. This game has potential to top the Chiefs-Rams game. Remember when they had Goff? That shootout. I think this game has potential. Now, the Rams win, but I think that this game will be
It could be.
It is. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
By that week, we should have full power at receiver.
Yeah, we should have. We should have Gallup back.
We should have either. Hopefully, the left tackle position is.
I hope
is solved.
I hope it's shored up. I hope it's shored up on Monday.
It has to be solved by that.
Hey,
week.
Listen, I hope it's shored up by Monday when Dallas announces the signing of Jason Peters.
Their D line is
demonstrous.
Pretty bad. I mean, it's pretty tough to.
Yeah.
Handle, so, and they have the MVP.
Yep.
Donald, and then he's not even their biggest guy, and he's the MVP. So.
Yeah, and they also you got to remember they also bring in Bobby Wagner and their linebacking core. So that doesn't help.
Yeah.
Now
they did lose.
No, they lose Von Miller.
Yeah, he left.
As of right now, they haven't re-signed Odell. There's speculation that he could re-sign with the Rams, but the number one team that they're talking about him going to is Buffalo, which could be scary.
Yeah.
But now
that's where Von Miller went, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now with the Rams also on the flip side, you don't have Odell. Van Jefferson's out for some time.
Mm-hmm.
You need a wide receiver too. And they go out and get Allen Robinson. That is with Cooper Kupp on the other end.
Yeah. They still have Higbee, and Higbee can be
I think
pretty effective.
I'm pretty sure Higbee's still injured though.
He might be, yeah.
So it's going to come down to they also get Cam Akers back.
Yeah.
And they also have Darrell Henderson Jr. in that backfield. So you got a tandem in the backfield.
That's a team that knows that they have the depth. And they try to shore up things. If Cam's down, they have a solution. Chargers brought back Sony Michel.
Yeah. Michelle got released and goes to the Chargers, which is that's a solid pickup.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I don't see us beating the Rams. Now, if we somehow open the season 5-0, then the pom poms may start coming out.
I ain't whipping out pom poms. Okay,
No.
I'm not whipping out pom poms.
No,
But then we're gonna go into week 6 here. Week 6 against Philly. I believe this game is in Philly.
see, that's the thing is,
Being in Philly is hard to do. Like that's a hard game to play. But I think you know what? We win it. I give us the win. I'm giving us the win. I'm gonna
let's
give
see
us.
how it goes. Now, even though we're Cowboy fans, Dallas does start strong a lot of years. It's the end part of the year we have a problem.
Yep.
With.
Yep.
We generally do run out to these nice records at the beginning of the year, and then all of a sudden
Well,
can't beat the Colts. You know, maybe the I'm going to the Jacksonville game. I think we'll beat them, but I can see us definitely losing to the Colts. I can see us losing
to 10.
maybe
I can see us lose.
Tennessee.
I can see us losing
Yeah.
to Philly on the back end. I can see us losing to Philly. I can see us losing to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm gonna give us this win on the road in Philadelphia. But then to come home, and now I'm a cash in my Maher mess
The
up.
Maher miss.
The Maher miss is gonna happen against my sleeper playoff team, the Detroit Lions. And
And Dallas is prone to letting their guard down when they think, oh, it's
yeah,
here come the Lions, we're good. We
very
don't even have to practice.
oh yeah, very
And
much
then they
so.
run out there and get lit up.
Very much so. I'm sorry. There's no reason we should have gone to overtime with the Patriots last season. No reason.
Patriots, the Denver game was ugly. Very
The
ugly.
Chiefs game was ugly.
Yeah, we scored 9 points.
All from Zerline.
All from Greg missing leg, and that's just sad. We only allowed 19 and couldn't win couldn't do it. So I mean, we'll see.
But no, I think the Maher miss is going to take effect October 23rd at home against Detroit. But then to make up for it, I have us winning against Chicago.
yeah.
Why? Chicago. That's I think that's the only notable and reasonable answer I have to give on why we win that game. Chicago.
Yeah. Anything else you want to cover before we wrap up?
You want to finish out the season real quick? Just go through real quick.
Yeah.
All right. So what does that put us at now?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So we're 6-2 now. Coming off the bye week, going to Green Bay. I think we win that game. Green Bay's not a for sure. I don't think they're the best team in their division. Well, let me just start there.
They're beatable.
They're beatable now.
Assuming we're doing everything we're supposed to do.
Yep. Then we're on the road that following week also against Minnesota. I give us a loss.
Yeah, I think we should lose that game.
We should lose that game. Minnesota, I think right now, second best team in the NFC. Just on paper right now. Then we're at home for New York on Thanksgiving. I'll give us a win there. Colts will be tough.
That's a tough game.
That game could go either way, but you know what? Out of respect for Jonathan Taylor, I'll go ahead and give us a loss. I think Jonathan Taylor and Pittman tear us up.
That'll be a good game. I could go either way since we have a little time off from the Thanksgiving game.
Mm-hmm.
That could go either way, but if Taylor runs wild, there's not much we can. It's just gonna be we're gonna be able to stop it.
Yeah. So then I'm gonna go ahead and give, and I'm saying Detroit is the Maher mess up, but also a slight trap game. Now going into this back half, I'm gonna give us a win against Houston. I'm giving us a win against Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Eagles can do it. I'm giving us another one.
Yeah.
So right now we're sitting at 11-4. Then here we go on the road, December 29th against Tennessee. I give us a loss.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give us a loss, and then a game to be determined against Washington. They can't decide if they want to play us on Sunday or Saturday.
Yeah, and also too,
I'll give us a win there. So I think we'll go 12-5
well,
again.
those last couple games too, like especially the very last game, if Dallas seeds in a wild card game, they'll take their bye week there and they won't run anybody out.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah,
we
if we already lock up a spot,
you
I
gotta buy, and you have to have the 1 seed to buy.
you have to have the 1 seed to buy, but I'm
So-
gonna go ahead and give the 1 seed to either the Rams or Minnesota. I can't make up my mind yet. I'll wait, see how the season plays out. I mean, Minnesota's defense is slightly suspect a little bit.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
but
mean,
definitely not as good as the Rams.
no, not as good. But I mean, I just think on paper wise, I'm gonna go ahead, and it's gonna come down in the NFC to either the Rams or Minnesota. Who knows? Maybe Dallas shocks us all,
Yeah,
and we
then,
get it.
I mean, what that means is Dallas is on bye January 7th or 8th because they won't want to play anybody against.
Yeah, no, we won't throw any.
The
We won't throw.
Commanders.
We won't throw anybody. But we'll throw out our practice squad against the Commanders. Go let Ben DiNucci get some reps. We didn't even bring him back. No, we didn't bring him back.
But again, these are just our takes. This is what we think should happen. Obviously, it doesn't always go that way, and our reaction videos will show you just how much we think about some of the games. So awesome.
All right, well, guys, it was this is a lovely second episode to have. Go ahead, follow the main Twitter account that we have at TFP Harrison. It'll pop up. Should pop up immediately. Remember, I'm going to be live tweeting all of the Dallas games. Will be. I'm also going to live tweet the TCU games because I am a TCU fan, and I stay up and wait for Serena Williams to finish her match last night to watch that game.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it was an awesome episode 2.
Yep.
Well, guys, I'm your host Harrison with my co-host
Mike,
and we will see you guys next time.
bye.